Hey, everybody, welcome to King County Recovery Conversations. I am your co host. I'm Deaunte Damper, and I am so happy that you're here, but I'm also happy to be here with this wonderful human being, Ronnie. I would say Reverend Ronnie Rolax.
All is good. All is well. I wear the title. I bear the title, and that's my activity, my gift.
Yeah.
And I am proud to be here. I have my humbleness too, and I appreciate you calling on me. I feel like it's special
Yeah.
that you would call me at such a time as this.
You know what? Why I thought about you during this month? It is the month where we celebrate so many things in community. We are out, and people that are doing the supportive services are out. But above all else, it's Black Music Month. It's Juneteenth. And I think about, and it's also Pride Month. And how I got my pride is for community support from my allies, such as yourself.
Yes, yes.
And I think you are one of the community people that the world can count on. Not just in one space, but the world can count on.
There's many wraparound services.
Yeah, you're right.
Is what we do. Wraparound service. We meet people right where they're at, and try to lead them like out of the whatever they're in, the shame, the guilt, into freedom. To have in that space of freedom, and some of them in the healing floor where people need to be healed because people are hurting out there where they are, and they don't know really how to deal with the pain. The coping skills is what we're trying to give them, how to cope with whatever adversities that they're dealing with, wherever they are. Because most of the time, we've been there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about that. You know, you are doing amazing work now, but some of our tragedies that became our triumphs. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your journey into
Well,
recovery.
in my journey, it's always been, I haven't been aware of it. I think basically from a child coming up, I was informed by misinformed people. And they couldn't help you. You only know what you know. And so that's a fact. Nobody knows more than they know. And like, we feel like if you get better information, then you can make a better choice. If you make a better choice, you stand a better chance of being successful. And some of the intake, the information I had got, was fundamental for failure. And then, in my experience, like inside prisons, and over and over and over again, and I wondered why did I keep going to prison? And it occurred to me that that's why I was learning from people who were lifetimers in prison. That's what they knew, and they taught me that. And like I was like indoctrinated with it to go back, to go back, to go back. And I imprisoned my self-imposed prison in my mind. In fact, it was to the point that when I was off of paper, off of parole, warm, sunny day, I felt kind of messed up. I said, something's wrong. I don't have to report to nobody. I'm not on paper. And inadvertently, I did something that caused me to go back. And when I got there, I thought to myself, something in my thinking needs to be corrected. Something in my thinking. So I tried several programs, and they told me in those programs, on the outside people, that they're going to brainwash you. And I thought about that, and first I had a resistance to that. And I thought about it, and that's exactly what I needed. My brain washed, because my brain was dirty, and the things I did was dirty. And I said, so okay. So I got into the program, and I guess I'm clean now.
Yeah.
My brain is clean, my spirit is clean. And so, and people who do have dirty brains, my thinking, something was wrong with my thinking. And that was because I had been misinformed by misinformed people.
Yeah.
Who taught me how to think. So when I got better information, when I found out I didn't have to live like I was living and there was a way out, then I chose to follow that process and follow that way out. And it didn't, you know what? Even doing what I'm doing today, with my mindset, like it doesn't always feel good to do right, to do the right thing. I'm not always happy doing the right, but I always get joy. At the end of the day, I have joy that I've done the right thing. So you talked about those adversaries that was going. So I love the fact that this program that I follow now today of doing the right thing for the right reason has made my adversaries and these stumbling blocks, has turned them into stepping stones because I haven't had to change my address. And,
Right.
at the end of the day, I know I've done the right thing, and there's joy in that.
And there is joy in that you bring to community. And I've wanted to talk so much more because I know that community members during this month, there's a struggle that happens with some folks. Summer's out. Relapses are inevitable on a daily thing, right? On a daily. And what are some of the supportive services that you've been able to provide to community folks over the past, God knows, I would say 30 years plus?
Yes, just about. Okay. And my strongest point is my network. My network, the broader my network, the broader my net worth. And so, like in housing, I'm connected with people in housing, community transition housing, permanent housing.
Can I ask you a
residential housing,
question?
yes.
Why is housing so important to community folks in recovery?
Well, housing, it gets, first of all, you're out of the street. You have a place to stay, a place to lay your head, a place to wash up, and it gives you some integrity to feel like this is mine, my little space, and like I'm free to do what I want to do here in this space without somebody watching me or trying to. It's my own time. I can do me here, and that's kind of important, I think, in the process of growing, and in the healing factor, a safe place to stay, because the streets here are not safe. And people are dying at a level that I haven't seen before. In my 74 years of being on the planet, I've never seen it like this real time, how people are passing away and people are killing each other for nothing just because they can't cope with what's going on here. So being out of the street and into a place of your own and working those habits, hygiene habits, cleaning up, it gives you a sense of integrity, a sense of ownership. So I think that's, if that answers your question.
No, that definitely answers the question.
Yeah.
And it's like you are able to, making sure the community members get housed. You've done countless years. You have the blueprint on community advocacy towards community members that have been through the reentry space, especially community members that have been impacted by drugs.
Yes. And it's strange that you would say that. You're the fifth person that told me I got the blueprint.
You do?
Yeah. Well, I guess you're right. I've been involved in a lot of different programs, a lot of different agencies, and I went to school. And after I went to school, I was able to see what they were doing, the strategies that they were using, and the therapeutic levels that they were presenting, the therapeutic presentations that they were making. And so now I'm able to help people from wherever they are, because most times I've been right there too, to come out of that. And it's not a fast process, it's a slow process. But a lot of times, even when you're talking to the first thing I want to establish is real time. Are you not here, but present?
Yeah.
Are you present? Are you able to receive the information? Or are you wondering, a lot of people live in the past or the future, and nothing is connecting in the now time,
Yeah.
So we want to connect people to the now time, right where they are, with just the essentials, education, and in education I can find out who I am. Food, shelter, clothing, and clothing. That's kind of important. And then, are you able to follow an instruction? or do you have a desire to change? Sometimes you have to get some education even to have the desire to change, because without the desire, then you have nothing to look forward to. It's kind of like hopeless.
Yeah.
You're stuck in a rut. And so we try to show them a way out if they have a desire to get out. Unfortunately, there's a lot of doctrines out here today that people have a reservation to hold on to the lifestyle that they're living because they're comfortable with it, and better to know the enemy around you than the friend that you don't know.
Yeah. I think that a lot of community folks are struggling with that right now.
Yeah.
As a person that's navigated people through so many different crises, as you kind of touched on a little bit now, we are dealing with the fentanyl crisis in
Yeah.
community members. And one of the arguments that I have with people is just like we're focusing so much on criminalizing folks rather than focusing on investing in these folks and giving them the proper necessities that they need to be able to thrive, such as housing. As a person that's navigated community folks, right? What are some of the tips? How are you feeling as a community navigator navigating people through this crisis?
Well, I'm kind of having a dilemma with the criminal justice system in that you can see that prisons are closing. And some of those that are in jail going to prison are learning that there are no jobs for them because there's only so many jobs inside the prison, more people than you have jobs for. So that's going to cause more of a depression, more of a setback than it's going to cause a benefit. It's a liability when you can't work in there and get some type of income. And, people out here are struggling too. And the crowd that you were with, they're struggling. Most people that go to prison, like the people that they hung with, that's the end of that. Till you come out again, you don't see them no more.
Yeah.
It's usually the family, or you try to make an acquaintance with someone in there. But people don't really want to ask for money. They want to be self-sufficient a little bit in there. So that's one of the problems. And then the alternative to going to prison, you send somebody and warehouse them inside prison, warehouse them like pickles, and and then they come back out here, and the only place that doctrine works that they're instilled with in there is in there. It doesn't work out here, so you have a disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we come in the community, where I'm able, since I have an experience there, and I've connected out here. It takes a while to really, call it toxification, like an airplane. You ever see a skywriter?
Yes.
In the sky? And like the airplane is going right in the sky. Airplane is gone, but the writing is still there. It's still there. It takes a while for that writing to leave. And that's the same thing with those doctrines that we have in our mind, our mindset. So it takes a whole different mindset to survive out here than it does in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it'd be better, I think, for a lot of people not to even go that direction, to be exposed to that. That exposure is damaging to an individual. So that's where we come in, to try to help with that adjustment, to try to help them get involved and connect with something that's positive out here rather than something that's negative. And that guiding, that's why it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Of guiding, and you have to want to help people. So I love helping people. I want to, and the numbers are going up.
Yeah, the numbers are by the day.
Yes.
By the day.
Yeah.
By the age.
Right.
Seeing a lot of youth.
Right. A lot of youth.
A lot of youth. You
Yeah.
know? And one of the things that I do know is that anything is possible. Right?
Anything is possible. That's right.
We talk about so many different organizations and different spaces in the CD that have gotten shut down, and one thing that has been constant in our communities Even when I was in treatment, people were like, "Oh, well, you need to go to Cherry Hall. Have you been to Anything is Possible meeting?" Tell community a little bit more about Anything is Possible.
The Anything is Possible meeting. Well, it started with Pocan, and so Pocan had the GOTS program, getting people off the streets, and they had lost funding for them, or they lost the director went a different way, and they lost the building. They had to move to a smaller building, but instantly, I brought that group, the GOTS program, into a space where we could continue that because I thought it was good, and just the higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, whatever energy it is, has been blessing us to keep that thing going where we feed the community on Fridays. I mean, a good soul
food.
meal. Good food, not the regular, not the food bank stuff. I mean, not putting that down or nothing.
Yeah.
But I cook myself.
Yeah.
And some other good soul people that cook a soul food dinner. And then some people like from the treatment centers, they come from Essential Needs, that program, they come from the Salvation Army, they come, so they come, and then our people, they come. And like, it's a full house usually. And they get some good information, and they get good energy, and they're welcome there. We do hugs, not drugs there. And then we don't push nobody. You come at your own pace. And it's not like the courts might send you there. In the beginning, you have that. We know how that is because the court sent me too.
Yeah.
And that was like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
14 years later. But now, the light came on. Keep coming back. Sooner or later, the light comes on. And then you're able to do some other things. Not only do they come there, but at the church where I preach at from time to time, they'll come there. And like, it's universal. My thing is universal. Just whatever God that you believe in, that's fine. If you don't have one, maybe you should get one.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a doorknob. Get a power that's greater than you.
Yeah.
To help you with this, and admit that we're powerless over our actions sometime. And I had to understand what that was. And that was my mind. There was something wrong with my thinking. And they come in like, who's an addict? A man or woman whose whole life is dependent on drugs in one way or another. They're getting and using and finding ways and means of getting more. And that's mostly the impact you have. That's all you think about.
Yeah.
Is getting more. And so sometimes behind my self-centeredness, and I think that's me thinking, but it's my disease that's active. It's not me at all. I need to find me. I need to shift through the disease, abandon it, so I can find out who I am and what my purpose is on this planet while I'm here. And we talk like that up there, the basic needs and the bottom line of who are you? Do you even know who you are? Are you the spiritual you? Are you the mental you? Are you the physical you? Because you've heard about the mind, the battleship of the mind, the battle of the mind.
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
Tell us a little bit about
Well, yeah, the mind, there's a battle going on all the time. You have the ego, the superego, and the id. And so we label them like, there's an I want to do this. And then there's I should do this. Then there's I will do this. That's the actual action, right? And so that part of the mind, that physical part, is I want to do this. Because I want to have fun. I want to have pleasure.
Yeah.
I want to do this. I want to do that. But I've been taught that I should or shouldn't do that. I see that money over there. It doesn't belong to me, but I want it.
Yeah.
And then that other part says, but you shouldn't do it because it's not yours. And then it goes to the superego that looks at that and says, I will do this. Whether it's the I want wins, or whether it's the I should wins, or whether it's the I will, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Depending on it. And we talk about that. So when you say me, in my mind, what me are you talking about? Yeah.
This was many, right?
Yeah.
I think that there is just so much, like I said, when we're talking about the Central District of Seattle,
Central District.
we've been impacted by gentrification. and very many of our community folks don't have spaces to commune, especially our community members that are in recovery. And you've been able to hold this space
Yeah.
for people. How does that feel to hold this space for
For
people?
at
People
least a
driving from
decade.
Tacoma for at least a decade. People are driving all the way from Tacoma
And Spokane.
Spokane,
Yeah, and Kennewick.
right? Just to come.
That meeting.
How does
Yeah.
that feel for you?
Well, I'm so busy. I'm dizzy. I haven't had time to feel it yet. All I got time is to present it. To help where I can help. But when I look at that, what people are saying, I'm hearing them how they're being helped. And listen, I'm talking about people that are homeless. I mean, they come to that program. They got 5 and 6 transition houses now.
Absolutely.
Buying homes now. People that were seemingly unemployable. Not only are they employed, they're journeymen, supervisors on jobs. Some of them have their own business. So to see people come in, toe up from the flow up, and then a couple of years later, 3-4 years later, having their own business, excelling, that's great. I feel good about that. Say, thank you, God. I'm doing something right, or you're doing something right through me, So yeah, that's a beautiful feeling. Our success rate is beyond extraordinary.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that it's also like I think about some of these programs that are coming out now.
Yeah.
And you are a person that used to work at Spokane. I too am someone who used to work there, and it's a lot of our work that we did
Right.
in these organizations were the blueprints to many of the work that people are doing now that
That's
are
right. Absolutely.
out there, and they don't talk about yourself or nature or Chuck
Right.
in that space of like, hey, these people really created space.
They did, yeah.
For us. So, and we look at it now. What advice could you give to a parent or a spouse or a child that is that has someone in their community that may be using?
Well, this is the thing here. That's kind of real difficult to deal with if there's not a desire.
Yeah,
First of all, I have to love them.
love that.
I have to love them right where they're at. My program is a love program, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I love people right where they're at, you know what I mean? Because I know that that's not them. In order for me to look at someone in a negative view, I have to be looking at the negative side of my own heart to see that. But if I'm busy looking out at the positive side of my heart, I overlook that. I deal with it later.
Yeah.
But I'll look at the positive side that this person, there's hope for this person. There's hope for all of us. We all have hope. There's a way out. And the parent should be let, especially if the parent knows about the genogram. You know what a genogram is?
No.
So let me explain what a genogram is.
Okay.
I do this with my clients. So a genogram is like there's me and my siblings, right? Sisters and brothers. I draw a straight line and I circle, put their initials on it. For everyone that has a problem with drugs or alcohol, I put a dot on it, right? And then I go up to my mother and father. If they had a problem with drugs or alcohol, I put a dot. And I follow my father's siblings, uncles, right, and aunties. If they had a problem with it, I put a dot on it. My mother's, aunties and uncles, if they had a problem with drugs, I put a dot on it. Then I go to my grandparents. If they had, I put a dot on it. Then I go to my mother's sisters, her kids, my first cousins.
Yeah.
And I put it down. And the next thing I know, I got like a Christmas tree. So there's something genetic going on
Yeah.
with that family, right? And I tell my kids that, listen, I have to be honest with you. I had problems with drugs and alcohol, and it's in our family. And I do that genogram, and I show it to them. And so you have the potential to also have a problem with drugs and alcohol. See, when we first start, it's progressive, right? So when we first start, we can do it and quit. It's fun, having that. But after a while, if that disease gets inflamed and opens up, It's no longer fun. It's a progressive. Started out spending $5, now I'm spending $500. You know what I mean? Started out with paying my rent. Now I'm not paying my rent no more. I'm paying the dope man. You know what I mean? And now I'm homeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's progressive. So it seems okay at first. I explained this to him. I explained what makes me powerless
Yeah.
over my addiction, and that's when I'm obsessed behind it. I even think I love it. That's how my disease fools me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But who loves going to jail? Who loves living on the street? Who loves not washing up? You know what I mean? So, but I think I do at that point, you know. But when my thinking, my obsession, and the compulsion part of the disease is the part, my physical part, that drive inside me that make me go get it and make me do things I don't want to do. Who wants to steal from their loved ones?
Nobody.
Nobody. But I'll do it because the disease is calling me. And nothing counts. Or leave my kids somewhere. You know what I mean? Abandon them for the drug. Who wants to do that in their right mind? My proportion is distorted. My sense of proportion becomes distorted. And that could happen to them. And so if they can catch that, they have the information, they become from powerless to empowered. Now, once I find out what's going on with me, like I quit smoking cigarettes, right? And I find myself swearing I'm not going to smoke them. I already claim I'm not using drugs. But I'm walking down the stairs, walking up the street, going to buy a cigarette against my own will, going to the motion, putting my money on the counter, getting a cigarette, smoking or taking 2 hits and get a pack away.
Yeah.
I do that about 3 times and that don't make sense.
Right.
But I'm powerless. But today I never give up. And today I'm empowered.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't smoke even cigarettes anymore.
Well, your empowerment is contagious.
Man, my empowerment is
No, really.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like community needs some of that often. So what are some of the things that's next for you?
Next, I spoke to you about it earlier today.
Yeah, but they don't know that. They don't know what we be talking about.
Yeah. The universal church is what is next for me, because actually I'm spiritually motivated, and like honesty. I want to be honest with people. I want to be open-minded so I can receive some information from people, and I want to be willing to do what it takes to take the next step to get where I'm going. I want to be integrity. I want to walk it like I talk it, and I do a pretty good job at that.
Yeah.
You know, if I have to say so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so and that takes a sacrifice. I separate myself from those people that are, unless they're coming to me. Like, I would never go into the jungle where I used to live. I would never go into there and talk about having a NA meeting or something in the jungle. Or if somebody was out there in that traffic, and I might feel for them, I'll pray for them. Prayer can go where I can't go. I have to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, prayer can go where I can't go. And some places I have no business there
Yeah.
at all. You know, trying to go. Let's see, we carry the message, not the mess. We carry the message, not the addict.
Yeah.
They have to come to us
To receive that.
to receive it. Yeah, they have to be have a desire. That's all it takes. It's a desire, and that desire can be small. There's no yardstick to measure it. You know, even if they come in there, even if they come in and they've been using that day, our instruction is, if you've used today, just sit down and listen, and don't say nothing.
Yeah.
You know, talk to somebody after the meeting, and we suggest that they come back clean. Yeah.
You know, and that's why I just love you, and I know I want to give you a couple of minutes just to say really briefly where community members can be able to find you, and what are some of the things. Yeah.
Okay, so you can find me on 25th and Jackson, 323 25th Avenue. There's a community room every Friday at 2 o'clock. We have meetings there, and we feed the community. And I don't know how we're doing it because I'm not funded by anyone on that.
But
yet.
you, but,
But it's
donations,
working.
donations
Been working.
are accepted.
Huh?
Donations, you do take donations.
I take donations, yeah. Donations, yeah. Yeah, I do take donations. They're accepted. And at Benu on 1601 Yesler, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock in the morning, we have meetings from 9 to 10:30. And after 10:30, I do one-on-ones with people to give them an assessment. And if they have barriers, we try to get them through those barriers, get some doors open so they're on the right track, and they can keep coming back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And, that's powerful, isn't it? You are powerful. And I sit here happy to be on my recovery journey, not because nobody made me, but because I believe in myself.
Right.
And I didn't know that I needed to believe in myself until I started coming to some of your meetings too.
Yeah.
And even though when I knew the truth, I still ran away from it.
Yeah.
But I'm just so happy to be walking in legacy with you. You are a pillar in this community. And I thought when we were first doing the sit-down interview, it's like, well, who am I going to sit down with? I know exactly who I'm going to sit down with first.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I spoke with Miss Aliyah today, and she asked me to come. I said, I can't. I got to go see Brother Deaunte. I got to see Brother Deaunte. She said, what are you guys doing? I said, I'm a closed-mouth friend. I don't know if I can tell you.
But I thank you very much, my
Thank
brother,
you.
for coming today. And I thank y'all all for tuning in to King County Recovery Conversations. I want to thank my friends over there at King County Recovery Coalition. And until next time, remember to walk with love. We do recover.
May I say this?
Yeah.
My message is that an addict, any addict, can stop using drugs, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. Come be a part of us. Growth, change, and recovery.
I love you, brother.
I love you too.
And love you, community.
Love
Good
you,
night.
community. Good night.